Hi, and welcome to Virginia State University's Randolph Farm. Today we're going to be talking about soil testing and soil fertility. Now this time of the year it's cold outside, there's not a lot you can do in terms of your garden, except for planting maybe. But this is something, soil testing, that you don't really think about doing a lot. Most home gardeners don't do it, but it can be something very good to do. The elements, the nutrients, the minerals that are in the soil are very important for plant growth. So it's a good idea 3 or 4 months before you plant to be able to get a soil test done and be able to look and see what kind of nutrients are in the soil and see if you do need to amend them and how. And this makes you a good steward of the land too, if you think about it. You don't want to over apply fertilizer, but you also don't want to under apply. You just want to make sure you've got the right amount for your plants. Also, if you do that this time of the year, you kind of know what you're going to have to budget for. If you're going to have to buy extra fertilizer or a little bit of lime or some other amendments, this will get you in that planning stage. Now this is something that can be done through private labs or through the Cooperative Extension Service. All the county extension offices will be able to help you with this. And you can send, in Virginia, you can send a sample in a box like this off to Virginia Tech, and in about a week's time you'll get an analysis back. It's really not that expensive, it's really cheap as dirt. We have a shovel here that we're going to use. When you're thinking about the shovel to use, make sure it's one that you haven't really had in a lot of fertilizer or mixed manure with, and if so, clean it off very well, because that can change the results of your analysis there. You also want a bucket that you're going to sample into, and you want that to be clean and dry, and you don't want it to have been something that you've carried fertilizer around in, because that could change the results. Maybe a spade, a trowel maybe that you can use, and you've got a sampling box like we talked about before. So I've kind of pre-dug a little wedge in this ground here. I'm going to pick that out of the ground. And then I want to take a slice of this from the inside with this shovel. That's going to go down about 6 or 8 inches down. That's the area that you want to sample for your vegetable garden. And when this comes up, you're going to have a wedge that's about 2 inches deep, about this shovel width, and about 8 inches down. Now what we want to do is cut off the top part where the grass is, where the roots are. We don't want that as part of our sample, and we want to remove that grass material out of there, maybe a little bit off the sides. But we've got a nice profile now of what the soil would look like, and this can be taken to the lab and analyzed pretty easily. We're going to put this in the bucket, and for a small garden you want to sample several places within the garden, and then you want to put all those samples like we just did in this bucket, and you want to blend that soil together, mix it up, get it blended so that you have an accurate representation of the whole area that you're going to be gardening. So then once it's all blended up and you get it all mixed up together, you'll take that material and you'll fill this box with it. This is the box that you get. You close it up, and you can send this along with a form to the soil testing lab. That form will tell the people at the lab what was grown here last year and what you're planning to grow for this year. It'll identify this sample as a unique sample for you, and then you'll get your analysis. Okay, so you've got your analysis, your lab report back from the lab, and it is a lab analysis chemical report. It can be very confusing, but it really shouldn't be. And you can always talk to your master gardener at your local county extension office or the agent there. They'll give you a hand interpreting this. One of the things you want to look at is pH on here. pH is so important for how all the other elements are taken up by plants. On here it will tell you what your pH is, and they'll use the buffering capacity also to give you a recommendation about what amendments to add to either raise or lower the pH. The other thing is you'll see levels of elements, calcium, potassium, phosphorus, for example, and they will make recommendations on here based on what you have told them you're going to grow. They'll make recommendations about how much to put out, usually how much nitrogen to put out also, based on what those crops need. So that's something to think about there. It's real important when you get these numbers to kind of have an idea of how big your garden plot is going to be, and to measure that and really know, so that when you do those calculations, when you're adding that certain amount of nitrogen or lime to an area, you know how big that area is. Well, again, for more information about analyzing these results or about soil testing, contact your local county extension office. From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins. We'll see you next time.